Oui, Laurent sera là-bas.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
Qu'on auditionne Laurent Esso. Laurent Esso est co-commanditaire du crime de Martinez Zogo. Qu'on l'auditionne, qu'on l'interpelle. Peuple camerounais, levez-vous.
Levez-vous.
Nous ne pouvons pas avoir un ministre de la Justice qui est soupçonné de crime.
Jamais. Jamais.
Un ministre de la Justice soupçonné de crime ne peut pas être en fonction. Il doit démissionner ou il doit être démis de ses fonctions. Oui. Levez-vous. Levez-vous de tous les continents. Réclamez justice. Ne gardez pas silence. Ne gardez pas silence. Parlez toujours jusqu'à ce que la justice aboutisse. Car si vous baissez les bras, ils vont fermer le dossier. Parlez toujours de ce dossier.
En 1972, nous étions déjà nés, on n'avait pas de problème. Nous fêtons l'union avec les anglophones. Nous avons accueilli les anglophones. Comment nous avons géré les anglophones? Prenons quelques clichés. 50 ans, on n'a jamais eu un anglophone secrétaire général de la présidence. On n'a jamais eu un anglophone ministre des Finances. On n'a jamais eu un anglophone ministre des Forces armées. Aucun anglophone n'a jamais occupé un poste de souveraineté. Allez dans l'administration. C'est en 2018, quand la guerre éclate, qu'on tente de mettre un anglophone ministre de l'AT et l'autre ministre de l'enseignement secondaire. Pour croire qu'on va contacter les anglophones.
Alors,
et vous allez voir que...
Je m'en voudrais de vous laisser partir de ce plateau sans avoir le sens exact de cette métaphore que vous avez répétée au moins ça 2 fois ici. Vous avez dit, on va mettre du nucléaire dans nos 2 réacteurs. Cette métaphore renvoie à quoi? Est-ce qu'on peut savoir ce que vous voulez dire exactement? Pour parler des solutions, peut-être j'ai failli emprunter à l'histoire, la solution finale avec la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Vous voulez faire allusion à quoi exactement?
Alors, depuis un certain temps, vous constaterez comme nous qu'il y a des pôles politiques sous-jacents. On ne va pas contourner les choses. On parle de franquistes. Vous êtes au courant?
Mama, Kumba, Waniga Mola Gifarando, Akina Suko Kima, Kumulaga, Mama, I'm back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my dear people of Ambazonia, my brave warriors of the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akura. Today is Tuesday, February 21, 2023. Actually, who told you that Ambazonians are about to surrender? This question, when it comes at the end of this jingle, it always intrigues me. I feel like, oh my goodness. Sometimes in this liberation movement, some people allow doubt to take over their thought pattern. Some allow simple fear, confusion because of all the manipulation that they get out there, and they begin to tremble. They begin to feel that our dream, our shared dream, our collective hope for a free and independent Ambazonia could well be dashed for one reason or the other. My people of Ambazonia, I'm here to continue to inspire hope in each and every one of us. I'm here to continue to deliver this message of conviction, to continue to let our people know that unlike the noise that is being made from La République du Cameroun and in some quarters around the world where La République du Cameroun still has its strongholds, they try to give the impression that the leadership of our liberation movement do not have a vision, that we don't really know exactly what we want, whether it is independence we want or so usually that gives me to laugh. It gives me to laugh because anyone who has observed very keenly the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement, the Ambazonian freedom quest, unfold from 2016 to this date will recognize that we are not a people who surrender. We are not a people who give up once we have couched our vision and determined that this is where we seek to go. We will get there. We will not leave any unfinished job. We will complete the whole thing. La République du Cameroun today is basically a shadow of what it used to be. A shadow of that country that once sent fright down the spines of our people and, gave the impression that they were so invincible that we could not rise up to, ask for what was truly ours, to take what is truly ours. My people of Ambazonia, about 6 years down the line, we definitely should have come of age. So this means that we are simply fine-tuning and refining our strategies, which means that today more than ever before, we are not stupid to be doing the kind of things or the kinds of things that, cause us to weep more than the enemy yesterday. The strategy has changed. A lot of things have changed. And now we are getting ready to impose a newer dynamic. Because like I said, this liberation movement, like every other one, is fought in phases. And so the next phase that we're about to engage will be the phase where La République du Cameroon will understand that boys have been selected from men, and that henceforth it will not be business as usual. They have started seeing signs of it. They have started feeling it. That is why today, more than ever before, La République is investing about 58 to 60% of its world resources on creating black legs. Because La République has recognized that we are invincible if they go conventional. That we are invincible if they continue to use the old strategies that they were using and counting on themselves. That is why today they are determined to count on the greed of those in our midst who can't withstand the least temptation for a few francs or a few dollars to sell their people. That is why La République du Cameroon is investing more in that direction. But even then, they are still facing vicissitudes. Even then, it is not a walk in the park. Let me acknowledge Noel Paul. You were the first to come on the chat here. I don't know where you are watching from, but accept salutations from me. Asunde Ntwi and John Botti, or Johnny Botti. So accept salutations from me. I'm acknowledging you for being very active viewers on this platform. And there are thousands and thousands of you whose names I may not necessarily call, sometimes because I don't see them, but I continue to hail you for remaining glued to this platform, so we continue to share educative messages, so we continue to share vital information about our liberation movement, so we continue to fight together to make sure we get to the promised land. This morning, I listened with a lot of pleasure to one of our activists who sometimes, unfortunately, has gotten derailed. I mean, it happens. But the good news is I listened with a lot of pleasure to one of our activists. Therefore, the old man with a big and nice voice say very clearly today that anyone, I mean anyone, sharing those messages or casting aspersions on fellow comrades or on leaders or what or whoever in our liberation movement are not part of this movement. We must recognize that an era has passed, a certain time has evolved, and so therefore we must remain focused on the objective. I'm delighted, very delighted, that he also reiterates a call I've made, that there is a whole forum created and he happens to be in that forum. And in that forum, he noticed that over 95% of those in that forum were from ground zero, and he could attest to the fact that at least 90% of those in that forum were pure black legs, and of course, people who are in the various DDRs. My people of Ambazonia, you need to know that the time to get so wise is now. Don't allow yourself to be isolated and cut off simply because you continue to be that one who wants to play the divisive politics of La République du Cameroon. We have to avoid that. We have to avoid letting ourselves to be used in that manner. So therefore, those were just preliminaries. Noel Paul, I acknowledge you. Peter Mba, Julius Tamajong, Paul K. There's Breknene. Oh my goodness, that name is so hard for me to pronounce. Christopher Abaiti, Nyamka, Abednego, Ndim John. In fact, I acknowledge all of you. I really want to thank you for, keeping to time, and I apologize for beginning about 30 minutes late. It's because I really was caught up with some other imperatives that got me, racing back to the studio for us to begin this mass, this Tuesday afternoon mass. So my people of Ambazonia, I will not want to, dilly-dally a lot. Let's begin to get into the package that I have to share with us today. Insecurity Insecurity has taken over La République du Cameroon completely. I mean, insecurity has taken over La République du Cameroon. The citizens of La République du Cameroon have now completely lost sleep, like it has been the case in Ambazonia for 6 years. They stayed behind. They laughed. They hugged each other. They mocked at us. They appreciated their, in quotes, valiant forces of, they call them law and order, but I call them of lawlessness and disorder, because they are agents of looting. They praise them for doing a wonderful job. They say, like kafar, they will clean us. Today, they are now getting so afraid to move even in the streets of their own capital cities. Oh, Douala and Yaoundé. Especially Yaoundé has become a nightmare to the citizens of La République du Cameroon. No one is sure of going out there and returning to their homes in the evening alive. No one knows who is after who, and no one knows who will be next. That is the kind of cycles I had said on this platform several times would get to La République du Cameroon. Listen, this morning, I had the opportunity to talk with one of ours who was so devotedly, so militantly against the Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle, because he was still getting some serious crumbs from La République du Cameroon and felt that was standing in his way, and a few of his friends, of tapping money because they have access to the illicit money. Today he was telling me, my brother, I can now begin to feel what the people in Bamenda, Boyakumbo, Manfe, Nkambe, just drop about Nkambe, Ebin Bengui, Batibo, whom have been facing. He said right now, the place has become more or less a powder magazine. Nobody knows what will happen when. And so everyone is on their toes and on the qui-vive. Now, even citizens of La République du Cameroon based abroad are getting extremely frightened about going home. Either they could get home and get poisoned by the very close ones they consider to be their friends, or something will just happen to them. Look at the case. Just look at the case of this young lady. She flew into La République du Cameroon from Paris. Oh yes, she flew into La République du Cameroon from Paris. She was a nurse practicing in Paris. Just went over to La République du Cameroon to, pay final respects for her aunts who had passed. She got to Yaoundé and she was expected to fly back to Paris today, this 21st day of February 2023. She was abducted there in Yaoundé, disappeared, taken to an unknown destination, and finally, her remains have been found around the road leading to Nsimalen, thoroughly tortured body. Everybody could see that. The pictures are there, but they are just too graphic for me to share for us on this platform. This is exactly what La République du Cameroon has turned into today. And while people are still grappling on that, I want to laugh and laugh and laugh again in situations where I should not be laughing. Look at, this is the Minister of the Public Service, Joseph Anderson Lay, talking about this man you see on the picture. He was the Minister of Mines. He was laid to rest last weekend in Baturi. And of course, Joseph Anderson Lay made clear at the funeral, which was presided over by the Prime Minister, head of government of La République du Cameroon, Chief Joseph John Gute. Joseph Anderson Lay publicly announced that the Minister of Mines, who was his countryman, was killed. That he was killed. That he didn't just die, he was killed. And Mr. Lay said his death was not only so suspicious, but that, there is glaring evidence that there are a lot of hidden high hands behind his murder. And he said everything will be done to get down to the roots of this. Listen, my people, when Joseph Anderson lay, says publicly he was killed. I have said here a couple of times that La République du Cameroon is broken into camps right now, into camps, and I quoted at least 3. The last time I read the names of Team A, Team B, and Team C, and I said Team A, led by the Secretary General of the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo, they call themselves Chelsea, and Team B, led by Laurent Esso, of course, in which you have the Amugu Bellingers and the others, they call themselves Barcelona. And then, therefore, the Team C, which comprises of Paul Biya, his son Fran, and Chantal finds herself in 2 of the camps. Come on. They are right now perhaps still preparing or fine-tuning their own strategy on how to hang on to power. And this is exactly what informs me, and should inform you too, that La République du Cameroon is already in a powder magazine, and they are beginning to unleash on one another. I say they are beginning to unleash. We heard about the murder of a lawyer. We heard about the murder of another journalist after Martinez Zogo. Now we are hearing about the murder of this young woman. Now we are hearing at the same time that even while all this is going on, there was yet another incident at the home of Martinez Zogo. That his wife, Martinez Zogo, his wife, has been trailed several times in the city by people in 2 cars that she could not identify. And eventually, they have been chasing right into the compound where she lives to unleash attacks. That is how you find this car you see is the car that's being used by the spouse of Martinez Zogo. You see it vandalized, shattered. It is a reminder that Team B is presenting to Team A that despite all the noise being made and the massive arrests and the threats even to arrest more people in their camp, they are not ready to back down. Listen, my people. I say they are not ready to back down. They are bent that they will go all the way, because that quest and that thirst for power and that battle for power in La République du Cameroon, I want to talk calmly, but I can't help laughing. Let me tell you, my people, La République du Cameroon, as we speak, is a very terrible place to find yourself in. That is why I keep speaking to the hearts, minds, and consciences of my Ambazonian brothers and sisters who are still in La République du Cameroon. I keep telling them, make hay while the sun shines. The people themselves are telling you that la nuit de long couteau s'approche de plus en plus. That very dark and long night that everybody had been fearing could come, it is now not only close, but extremely close. And we can already see all the signs. I always say this and I repeat it. And I ask this question sometimes, it's just a rhetorical question I ask, that if the tiger can eat its own very one, what will it not do to the flesh of a pig? What will it not do to the flesh of a pig? You will end up in collateral damage. You will end up being part of the casualties, whereas you did not have to be there in the first place. You did not have to be there. So despite all the protests and everything out there, those people are determined to make sure nothing stops them from attaining their objective. And when I come here on Thursday, and that will be at 9 p.m. Amber time on Thursday, I will be talking to you about 2 things. Number 1, I will be showing to you exactly how La République du Cameroon's colonial presence in Ambazonia, their campaign of annexation, of brutal military annexation in Ambazonia since 2016 has crippled the economy completely, to the point where the level of indebtedness of Cameroon has attained heights that even the IMF, that has been benevolent and willing to keep closing their eyes on the atrocities committed by that country to give them money, has now decided to start squeezing on the brakes. Oh yes, the IMF has decided to start squeezing on the brake pedals. It is true that part of that pressure could be the work of the government of Canada and its partners that are determined to let La République du Cameroun understand that they will not continue to toy with the international community, getting into arrangements for peace negotiations and getting out at will, and even provoking and calling names to parties that they agreed to work with. So now you have all heard that the IMF has determined it is unlikely, I'll say unlikely because things might change, I don't know, that it is unlikely to disburse any funds to La République du Cameroun because it's continuously loan in the month of March. Don't forget, La République du Cameroun depends on this money, on these loans, to pay the salaries of its civil servants. You notice that to service existing loans, such that they could continue to have the recurrent loans quarterly that will enable them to at least show a semblance of continually functioning, they had to make life really complicated, extremely difficult, and so expensive for the people of their country. So therefore, my people of Ambazonia, you see what is going on? Don't be surprised that even with all the barrage of arrests or the current of arrests that have gone on, regarding the Martinez Zogo saga, could still at the end of the day resort to the simple release of Amugu Bellinga, of Maxime Ekoeko, of even Colonel Dawe. Yes, of even Colonel Dawe, who confessed, as I heard, at least quoted by Reporters Sans Frontières, who confessed to the crime. But they could all well be released because there is a serious tussle for balance of power going on right now. So even all this
Oui, Laurent soit là-bas.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
So I'll say even all those protests, because I'm still to play that till we get there and have one or two things to say about that protest. So even all those protests in Europe, in America, and all whatnot for justice to be delivered on the Martinez Zogo issue is not stopping anybody. It's not appealing anything to anyone. The only thing it succeeds in doing is letting the international community continue to pile pressure on La République du Cameroun to deliver justice. But trust me, Mr. Paul Biya is no longer in control. Mr. Paul Biya no longer understands jack of what is going on. And consequently, all that pressure is landing on, it's like water being poured on a duck's back. It's resulting to nothing. More and more to nothing. Because the spate of violence, of violent killings, of targeting each other, and especially of suppressing free speech is not going to stop. It did not stop yesterday. It will not stop today. And it will not stop even tomorrow. Let's watch this protest for a few minutes, and I have for about 1 or 2 minutes, and I have something to say about it.
Oui, Laurent soit là-bas.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
Qu'on interpelle Laurent Esso.
Qu'on auditionne Laurent Esso. Laurent Esso est co-commanditaire du crime de Martinez Zogo. Qu'on l'auditionne, qu'on l'interpelle, peuple camerounais, levez-vous.
Levez-vous.
Nous ne pouvons pas avoir un ministre de la Justice qui est soupçonné de crime.
Jamais. Jamais.
Un ministre de la Justice soupçonné de crime ne peut pas être en fonction. Il doit démissionner ou il doit être démis de ses fonctions. Oui. Levez-vous. Levez-vous de tous les continents.
Okay, I want to hold those people here and come back to say what I wanted to say about this particular protest. My people, you see the number of people who were there, they are not above 20. I doubt if they're even up to 20. But they didn't bother about the numbers. They bothered about one thing, the message they were anxious to pass. You recall the last time we had a protest that brought together hundreds of people in Washington, D.C. And some of us quietly sat down to disparage the numbers that came out there, that it was nothing, it did not show popularity, did not. I want to let each and every one of us bury this in our minds. Protests matter. Those messages, those placards, those billboards that you carry, they matter. Even if you are reduced to a minority of one in whatever country you are, you see a place where even standing alone, and I recall in the early days of this liberation movement, there was one gentleman who went out as a one-man army and stood out in the snow. He knew that standing in the snow with a placard in his hands will attract the attention of every passerby. Everybody driving by was stopped to ask him, but what is going on? And he took that opportunity and explained to as many who drove by that road and saw him and stopped to ask questions. I'm bringing this here because I want you, wherever you are, to be motivated, to know that you don't need to be 10 of you, 20 of you before you can make an impact in this liberation movement. Don't limit yourself. Don't allow the lousy noise that comes from, the enemy's camps and from their infiltrators within our ranks to discourage you. Let me tell you, each and every one of us is extremely important in this liberation movement. Oh yes, I know. You are looking at me, you're asking yourself, oh my goodness, what is he talking about? What I'm saying is the truth. All the truth and nothing but the truth. You alone, in your own area in the United Arab Emirates, you alone in your own area in Bahrain, you alone in your own area, say in Hungary, you alone, wherever you are, 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, you can make an impact. Put yourself together. You can fundraise among yourselves and channel. Put yourself together. You can organize protests by yourself. Take videos of it like these people did and circulate on social media. Where you stand where people passing in that country will get this information. You don't know who sees. I don't know who begins to talk to their representative in the parliament of their country. We have seen British parliamentarians, although the British government has actually been, slow in acting like we've been expecting, but we have seen individual British parliamentarians rise to the occasion. We have seen US senators, individual ones, although the United States has really been proactive in so many respects, rise to the occasion. We have seen even a French parliamentarian, Sebastien Nadeau, rise to the occasion. This tells you, my people of Amazonia, that wherever you are and whatever you do can create the desired impact, the impact we need to move this liberation movement forward. So therefore, don't hesitate anytime you have the opportunity to do something. Don't minimize yourself. Don't let the game of numbers ding you over. Let's take a little break and we'll come back, we'll delve into more serious issues. Welcome back, my people. Before I make a move again, I really want to take this opportunity first to thank heartily and congratulate all of you who have finally risen to the occasion and are contributing feverishly for the scheme I launched a few days ago for us to protect the communications of our bravehearts. At the moment I'm talking to you, several truckloads of La République du Cameroon soldiers are heading towards Bui County. A good lot of them have already come towards around Gokotunja. Quite a number of others are heading towards Bafut. They are going to go, they will get there, turn around, and then they will drop a lot of their talks to disappear and stay in the bushes and wait for information on the tracking of the communications of our bravehearts to identify where they are to go after them. Today, just today, about 2 of our bravehearts were picked up in Pinyin because of the tracking that I've been talking about. This is how important this particular project is. I want to congratulate one of our brethren, a very brave Amazonian, who listened to an audio sent out by someone I would simply call a detractor. He sent out an audio saying that Mba Akura and others are planning to steal their victories when they draft and go out there by the end of April and start acting all the talks about the tour for fundraising because of planning to steal their victories and even raising money for someone who is dead. I could hear the voice of this gentleman who tells you he is an Ambazonian activist, that he belongs to one of our liberation movements, literally talking and celebrating and claiming that our braveheart No Pity died since October last year. You know as well as I do that La République du Cameroon has been trying to send out this propaganda and is spreading it everywhere, using my country people and all not, claiming that braveheart No Pity has passed. And that's not true. I told you here it is not true. Braveheart No Pity is not that chicken that will be moved so quickly to want to run to social media to say, oh no, they are lying, I'm here. How many times have they announced to us that he has been taken out? And listen, if you're doubting, I will show you one image that will embarrass you, to tell you how much the same La République du Cameroon that is deceiving some of our bravehearts in places through the people in the DDRs, to tell them that a whole mighty No Pity has been brought down, you are not safe. Drop your stick and come over into the DDR. Oh yes, the same La République which is saying that is sending assault teams everywhere to look for the same No Pity that they are supposed to have killed, not only in October of last year, but even in January of this year or in early February of this year. However, after listening to that lousy audio, one of our very brave comrades reached out to me because I gave my telephone number here. And this is what he said. Mr. Akuro, I have listened to you with rapt attention all these days. I've heard the urgency of the action we need to take in your voice. And my mind was already hardened, but I have decided not only to come back, but to make a 360-degree turn. And he offered to buy all by himself the satellite phone of Braveheart No Pity at the cost of $1,400. And this is what he said, that he would do everything for that particular phone to be delivered to me right here, so that I present it to you before it is sent. And he gave me the timeline of between the 10th and 15th of the month of March. That's in a few weeks only. He will personally spend $1,400 to buy that phone. He alone, him alone, because of the appeal. I've said here 1,001 times, I'm very proud of my people of Ambazonia. Extremely proud of our brave warriors of this liberation movement. Because I know that even when La République Cameroon begins to celebrate, that they have set doubt so much in our minds to the point where we cannot do anything, we manage to rise back to the occasion and teach La République du Cameroon that as a people we know what we want and we know where we are headed. That is the spirit. If you have not yet contributed, because so many people have already contributed. Quite a lot of people are contributing. Those phones, one of them, they cost between $1,380 to $2,550. We don't want to be too ambitious as to go for the most expensive ones. We are taking the ones that are $1,380, which means that the size of the purse is about $15,000. Because when we get them, we will subscribe and we will deliver them. My people of Ambazonia, these are self-defense tools. Therefore, don't hesitate to make your contribution. Contribute to Amber Relief 2018 at gmail.com. Amber Relief is AMBARELIEF 2018 at gmail.com. I will tag this as the first message or as the first comment on the comment section by the time I'm done with this live show, and pin it there. So if you want to contribute, you will take Zelle and you also take PayPal. My people of Ambazonia, I heard someone reach out and said, "Oh, Mr. Akuro, why didn't you even have the mind to tell No Pity before he passed that he should record some voice thing and leave for you to stay behind and use in deceiving people before you came to say this?" Another one suggested, "Tell Braveheart No Pity to send at least a voice note so you can put it on and let people know that he is actually the one talking." Listen, my people, I'm convinced that we all know the manner of approach of our Bravehearts. It is not at this time that we will want to put them in harm's way when they are seated, preparing, taking a step behind to take a much determined leap forward to deliver all this country that we want to free. Listen, my brethren, it is important for us to be part of this movement. So, La République du Cameroon, so convinced and telling people that they had already finished with Braveheart No Pity, even since October, since January, since February, for the same person. 2 days ago, they attacked Mbingo Hospital. Watch.
Ambe, no makaya. Ha. Ambe, no makaya mweke. Uloga mobile no asimi na sengo no. Koko. Yes. I tell you.
So my people, as you can see, these are houses around the Mbingo Hospital, because La République du Cameroon stormed the Mbingo Hospital 2 days ago on claims that they had heard, that they had received intelligence that Braveheart foot soldier No Pity was there receiving treatment from bullet wounds he sustained when they attacked. The same No Pity, that same one, not another one, that same No Pity, that someone in this liberation movement is so excited to announce that past since October. That same No Pity that they are moving around and claiming in the various camps and claiming for at the DDR centers and telling our boys that that same No Pity had already been brought down. But it's the same No Pity that they were chasing 2 days ago. Listen, my people, a legend is a legend. I want to obtain permission from you at this juncture to leave this specific message. If you can cut it out and circulate it in whatever form, so that it should reach those brave hearts in areas that cannot be reached when they come to YouTube, that they can have it. So allow me to get into Pidgin English for just 2.5 minutes. My country people then for Ambazonia, I'd want to pass this strong message, very strong message. See, when you hear them, share them with all that we boys them, the voices in the bushes, with they stand strong for make sure say, may we get a free country. This message now for talk say, make them know. Say any person, any of their brothers, we don't go for DDR. Now already soldier for La République, na B, na gendarme, na police, na JPing, na JPIC. Na so he did. And make every person put up for your head very well. The moment when you talk side the train stick for go DDR, no check say you go now for DDR, so that may they start give you fine chop, you chop them. May they give you good room and good bed, make you sleep for day. May they give you money, say may you go start business or for rehabilitate you. Na lie. DDR na another form of prison. And that particular prison be worse than said and Konengi prison. Now know it they happen for some brothers for DDR for Bamenda. Una don't ever ask yourself why that Ketubi just move, you still one time, watch, he killed that with brother. Now simply because that one be denied, say, he no go lead them to the field inside bushes for go find his other brothers because he be the camp for DDR and I say he don't surrender, he wants stop for fight, he want go back to normal life, he wants to make the give money, make go start business. They tell you, say you crazy, you check that thing that will bring you for here, that's what they take bring you down. So if you wake up for your head, you accept say you go for DDR, know say that they work that way you go do. And if you not be able to supply information where you go lead them for bring down your other brothers, they go kill you. They didn't hesitate, and then plenty of una say don't reach for field. Only una own very brothers who una been fight with yesterday, they take una out. Because they don't stand there with the enemy. Sometimes they say that every stray bullet, all those things there. Because they people use una now as human shields. So when you woke up, you talk, say, the job must still come on. No, sorry. That one never for help you. And all that talk where they can't deceive now for various camps, say, oh, now see, no pity, they don't really kill them. If mighty, no pity, they will bring it down. Who be you? Drop your stick camp so they go get safety. No pity never go nowhere. One of these days, we'll not go hear news. Only as when I used to hear. I sure say, oh man, no. How he used to announce himself when they say he don't go. When he show up, una know what did happen. So make una no fret. Shake no day. Nothing never happened for we brave warrior. That one, now we own gift from God. For lead we out of the dungeons. For lead we out of slavery. For lead we out of servitude. For the Republic of Cameroon. And then the next thing I don't talk about phone tracking. And I want to send this message for my brothers and for APLC on Ground Zero. And I want to note them very well. Me I need to do for detraction. When I know I be one of the first people then for always support. Say make we bravehearts and make they come together. But when I don't create a forum, a WhatsApp forum. Inside that WhatsApp forum, when I need to vet all man when I bring inside that WhatsApp forum. DDR picking them don't come around they say they DDR, they inside that forum. Oh yes, some person stand for some side. That way here they call name for some certain command that way they say that one don't sell KD for DDR. The man shout. He said the DDR. He said me I be giving name they put it for the forum for APLC. And I don't even send him money make it do things them. Check say na one of we. So that kind of people them in their good numbers they inside that one forum. My dear brothers are for APLC. No be detraction. And not there for manipulation. As when I hear my voice today, make every person come up from that forum. When I change when our numbers, change the phones immediately. And immediately change your number, change your phone. Look out, make when I change. Make when I send people from one camp to the other, make they go to take the new numbers them, right and right, then when I then they reach each other them. Not only the new numbers them, no call no old number when we don't first call them. Because if they already track that number, once you call that old number, they will get back a new number, they start tracking you right back. And then you don't stay the check, you don't really be secure. Change numbers, change phones. And then when I don't change all this, when I be sure, see when I don't secure the whole thing, when I feel form back, create back a new forum. Then when I create that new forum, make when I only add man for day. Now when I don't send person, they go see the place where you own come day and see how it act. When I vet it properly before I put it inside there. This one, that very important message for all with brave hearts. Man, no joke. As you hear this message, circulate them because it is very important. I don't know say like to do the Cameroon right now. They be so shaken, so disturbed, so worried Because I don't tell you now, IMF they deny for send the money for macho and they labor for their debt. When I go talk and for Thursday, someone on a carry on a hand they put them for it. So the Republic too, they know. Say that the Armageddon when they don't fear for a long time they come. So the emergency for make sure say make they finish win now is over high. And they get two strategies only, two. Tracking and the use of black legs, especially the boy the way they go for DDR. Of course, we know already. Say they get people there, they put among which so that after they will claim say they don't surrender, so that they use them for discourage others, to encourage others, and to me they say they surrender. Like that grandpa of Santa, all man know. That grandpa of Santa, as I talked even last night, he lead already this talks them for go for some other camps. He don't betray plenty people before. Now why that I always talk say vet una middle. Me una continue for make sure say you know who you operate with. Know it fine, know the place where you did it, know how you operate, and una keep find information about ourselves. This one be very fundamental. And no one made this one long so that any person will get a chance for cut them, for share them, you will not be able to forget this message through the use of black leg and phone tracking. Watch out. And you will be black leg. No say your name now die too for the hands of the Republic. If you take your phone, you voices in the bushes, call any person for GDI and say no, na ma abdi say ma joko is saloti. From that moment your name now waiting na die. From that moment your name now die. Take care of this message very seriously as you hear. And so I want to leave for now. Ma take little break. I take some drop of water, clear my throat, then I come back now for the rain garment for today. Welcome back. Yeah, Noel Paul, I see your message. You say Clovis is using your video JMA and conduct titles claiming you are crying. Of course, that is the more reason why when you watch, you should share and share and share and share so that people have the full version. When people have the full version and they see the little portions that they cut, do some little editing and try to create confusion in the minds of the people, they will know that this is a joke. And of course, there is nothing you can do to all of that. They are the ones crying. Like seriously, they are the ones crying. Because at this moment, they know what is right ahead of them. At this moment, they know these are the last cards that they can pull out and use. Because Amazonia is real. Nothing is going to stop the emergence of this wonderful country. Don't forget that even among themselves, Dia has done a wonderful job. Dia has done a great job dividing them thoroughly and ruling. Dia has done a tremendous job. You see here, this paper says, dog eat dog politics. Anglophone, CBD and elite from same womb, battling each other. When you look at them, they are not united. But they give us the impression they are. We are not the only ones who have misgivings in our disagreements. Paul Biya, from the time he took over power in 1982, his only tool has been divide and rule to make sure we don't ever understand each other. Because his fear, their fear has constantly been, if we understand each other and agree with each other, one day we will easily rise up all of us like one man and say no completely to the tyranny of Yaoundé, no completely to black on black colonization, no completely to the invasion of our territory. That's what you see here in Bui. Young fighting Yengo Francis, they don't see each other eyeball to eyeball. Donga Mantumfu, Kalisu Gencha and Galajera, they don't see each other at all. They don't meet. Ote Mofa Andrew in Meme and Benjamin Motanga Etoe. Even Benjamin Etoe, who is old to the point you can't believe, he is still fighting. Humphrey Monono and Bella Mokichas Mafani Musonge. There is no peace among the three. They can't sit around the same table and eat together at all. In Mezam, Atang and Jipol and Chi Cornelius Asafo, both of them from Santa, they can't sit on the same table and eat. No, they don't see eyeball to eyeball. In Meme again, Benjamin Etoe versus the Muketes. Kupe Wanenguba, Elvis Ngole versus Elum Paul and versus Ngole Philip Ngwese. That he didn't add here. Still in Mezawatanganji versus Ndumunji. Indian Ndume Peter Ambang versus Nchia Nawanga Manfred. In fact, it's everywhere. Tabetando versus Mengon Victor Arenkomo. Everywhere. It is this divide and rule that Mr. Paul Biya was so sure that he was going to use in keeping Ambazonia at bay. That he was so sure he was going to keep Ambazonia under siege, forever and ever. But unfortunately for him, that divide and rule within the ranks of the great liberators of our liberation movement has crashed. I want to salute our prisoners of war in Kondengui. Sisi Kujilius Ayuk Tabe, Patterson Wilfred, Pamfo Ngalamfo, Barrister Eyambe Elias, Mr. Fidelis, Shufai, Citizen, who have I not called? Mr. Awasum. In fact, to all of you, I just started with the Naira 10 so that I can move to everyone. Mancho, BBC, Ben Terrence, all of our people. T. Conrad, Benji, the other name is eluding me. All of these brave people, I want to assure you that that divide and rule that the Republic of Cameroon thought they will use to break us is failing. But it is rather succeeding among the corrupt and greedy elite that have decided that they will hang with La République du Cameroon sinking boat until their kingdom come, in hopes that they can carry us along so we'll continue to be the bait that they use in getting their appointments and the lucrative positions they usually have. My people of Ambazonia, we have demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that we are totally above this. I said the last time that Mr. Paul Biya has used to very good effect poverty as a public policy. That was going to be the key, the subject matter of our discussions tonight. But at the very last minute, because I got a thick report about the level of indebtedness of La République du Cameroon and how that country is suffocating right now, I decided to push this to Thursday to marry it along with that subject matter where they have, a kind of correlation. And so today, I want to remind all those who call themselves blacklegs. I know you, is it Naseri Clovis or whatever, my country people them, that you are so, I know you are seriously watching right now. Ask yourself which portion to pick. I want to offer you a portion you can pick. Listen, all those of you blacklegs out there, know that La République du Cameroon citizens have been so well educated to our plight that today they themselves know the truth that you have been helping or trying to help them conceal. Listen to Maître Chapi Lavoisier.
En 1972, nous étions déjà nés, on n'avait pas de problème. Nous fêtons l'union avec les anglophones. Nous avons accueilli les anglophones. Comment nous avons géré les anglophones? Prenons quelques clichés. 50 ans, on n'a jamais eu un anglophone secrétaire général de la présidence. On n'a jamais eu un anglophone ministre des Finances. On n'a jamais eu un anglophone ministre des Forces armées. Aucun anglophone n'a jamais occupé un poste de souveraineté. Allez dans l'administration. C'est en 2018, quand la guerre éclate, qu'on tente de mettre un anglophone ministre de l'AT et l'autre ministre de l'enseignement secondaire. Pour croire qu'on va contacter les anglophones. Alors, et vous allez voir que, s'il vous plaît, Duval, c'est très important. Vous allez voir que même le poste de Premier ministre qu'on donne aux anglophones, aujourd'hui là, avec la conduite des affaires de l'État, avec la marginalisation du Premier ministre actuel, le docteur Dion Ngouté, on se rend compte que le poste de Premier ministre est un poste vide de toute substance. Deuxième cliché. Avant 1972, il y avait au Cameroun occidental une société hydroélectrique qu'on a trouvée, Pawakam, avec des barrages hydroélectriques. Le référendum de 1972 a permis de dissoudre toutes les institutions du Cameroun anglophone. Vous avez fermé Pawakam.
On a pris le groupe électrique.
Aujourd'hui, s'il vous plaît, aujourd'hui, vous avez construit le barrage de Mekin, le barrage de Memvele, le barrage de Nachigal, le barrage de Lompanga. Avant ça, il y avait Sonlolou. Il y avait le barrage de Lardou. Quel barrage, en 50 ans, vous avez construit dans la zone anglophone, ayant supprimé l'unique barrage qu'il y avait là-bas avant la réunification. Alors, vous comprenez que, et troisième cliché, et dernier cliché du Val, prenez les routes. Prenez l'axe Loum-Kumba, 43 km. Un axe vital pour relier les anglophones et les francophones. Loum-Kumba, 43 km, 50 ans. Prenez Bafoussam-Bamenda, 70 km. 50 ans, on ne l'a pas construit. Prenez Bamenda-Bengui, chez l'ancien président Salomon Tanden Mouna, 43 km, 50 ans. Prenez Kumba et Kondo Titi, chez le premier ministre actuel, 50 ans. Prenez la Rim Route, 50 ans. Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait pour que les anglophones sentent que nous avons rejoint nos frères francophones? Et on puise le pétrole à Limbe. Mais regardez ce qui se passe. On a mis les pipelines pour que le pétrole qui est pompé à Limbe soit acheminé au port de Douala et mis dans les bateaux pour éviter de créer un port en eau profonde à Limbe. Depuis 20 ans.
So you have heard from a citizen of La République du Cameroon. I'm sure the way he has, the graphic manner in which he presented exactly what damage La République has caused to our territory, to our people, to our development prospects, is more graphic than the way any one of us could have done. Yes. Where is the Limbe deep sea port that La République has talked about from time immemorial? Zacchaeus Mongwe Fondinda is in jail serving a life term because he dared to want to revive the project of the construction of the Victoria Deep Sea Port. Because he made an extension of the shipyard project in Limbe, and they saw that if he started maintaining ships in Victoria, it will finally force them to construct a deep sea port there. And then they made noise about the prospects of a deep sea port in Limbe, the prospect of that deep sea port in Limbe. At the end of the day, they made a U-turn, and before you knew it, they said Kribi. Before you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, they have completed the deep sea port project in Kribi for thousands of billions. It's even already operational. Where is the one in Limbe? You listen to Maître Chapi Lavoisier. I gladly used that video because it had those subtitles, so you could be listening and reading and hearing for yourself how La République du Cameroon dismantled our entire economy to impoverish us, to make us dependent on them. After they did that, they moved to the next stage, which was dividing us completely by creating Northwest Southwest that did not exist before 1961. Just to make sure they divide us again. And when they did that, they made sure that they never tarred or made any road that links the major cities between the two provinces that they created, Northwest, Southwest. That is why you leave Bamenda to go to Boya, you have to pass through La République du Cameroon. You leave Boya to go to Manfé. I'm moving to Manfé. Too often you pass through La République du Cameroon, you pass through La République du Cameroon, pass through Bamenda to get to Manfé lately. Yes. They made sure that the Kumba-Manfé road was never constructed because it meant it was going to link what they call Northwest and Southwest and could facilitate communication and could cause people to start mixing again and could destroy their project of divide and rule. To make things even further difficult, that's why even the road leading from Lum to Kumba, that's not long. They never constructed it because it could ease movement for people coming from Bamenda, Babaju. They could easily come and get to that point and just move into what they call Southwest region at that point. They made sure it was not and it is not constructed to date. 33 kilometers link Bangem in Kopenhagen to Lum to Melon. 33 kilometers. But to do that 33 kilometers, there was a day I was out there in Bangem with Elvis Ngole when he was Minister of Forestry and Wildlife, and just to leave Bangem to Melon took us 7 hours. With Prados, with Land Cruisers, 7 hours. It's deliberate. For the same reason, they also took a long time to ever make the Kumba Boya road strictly passable, just to make sure we continue to stay apart, we don't interact quickly, so they could divide us, put stupid narratives into our minds, and make us feel that we're enemies among ourselves. That collapsed in 2016. It crashed in 2016 when the younger generation of Ambazonians, the never again generation, said to hell with this divide and rule. That is why the political class that I just mentioned there, fighting that are at each other's throat, they have become irrelevant because the young people who were their footstools suddenly understood that we cannot continue to be part of this divide and rule. And these politicians are the ones who are facilitating the creation of black legs all over the place. According to them, they think that they are trying to buy themselves time. I have said it over and over that they should never forget what happened to people like them in East Timor after they finally left Indonesia. The people of Indonesia, the government of Indonesia, came together to understand that if these so-called elites from East Timor had told us the truth, we would have had good dialogue, good discussions, and we would have taken measures to make sure East Timor doesn't cut off. They would have been with us. So they turned the fire back on them, cutted them, and pushed them into East Timor to the people's pleasure. That these are your people, go and meet them, let them do whatever they want to do. So those of you, like I heard Nasiri Clovis say the other day that, they can enter La République du Cameroon at will, they can take their families and go and protect La République du Cameroon, they can decide to wreak havoc on anybody because they count on that protection. The day is coming where pigs will beg for wings to fly. I can assure you, you will not like where you stand at that time. I'm telling you, and that day is not far. You are not going to like where you stand. Because I want to assure you, verily, 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 the Ambazonia project is a success. Nothing is going to stop it. Yesterday, they came to and started making some noise about Tico Airport. Where are we today? Look at here. They send something, they say, there are a number of airports they want to work on. I came to this platform and I informed everyone that those talks about Tico Airport is because they want to do work in their other airports and they want to give a semblance that they have mentioned everywhere. That's why they mentioned Tico. And of course, it has come to pass. This is a paper published in the Republic of Cameroon. They done government backpedals on Tico Airport project. You can see that for yourselves. When I say it, you may say, no, who is saying it? Is not the same Baakuro that we know here? Is not the same Baakuro that is sitting with us here all the time and we are sharing with, and we sit down with him and we talk and we see him and we know him, and then he suddenly comes and starts telling us that he has sources, he knows people, he's getting information. Where is he getting it from? This is it coming from La République du Cameroon itself. This way, you will no longer doubt it. You will understand where we stand. You will understand how La République du Cameroun perceives us. You will understand just where La République du Cameroun places us. You will understand what plans La République du Cameroun has for us. Listen. Moments ago, I was displaying images of the havoc they were wreaking in Bingo. Before they started setting fire to those houses and breaking them down, they did not ask, does a black leg have family that lives in this house? No. They don't care. They don't care. Everybody down. Do you like be a part of it? You are doing that at your own risk. Do you like be a part of it? I announced here the other day that we are planning a tour, a fundraising tour, a massive fundraising tour. Brace up for it. I've started receiving calls, messages from people from the various states in the United States and some from outside of the United States to indicate their readiness and willingness to host the delegation when we get there, to mobilize the people to come out there. I've seen some of the messages that you and the audience have said asking, why don't you mention all the leaders? Some of them reminded me that there are some very important leaders, even more important than myself, that I haven't mentioned. Listen, as you see me, I have never come here at any time trying to claim that I'm popular or I'm the most popular. I never claimed that I'm popular in the first place. I never come here to measure audience. I never come here to measure following. I come here to exchange with us knowledge on how we should be able to prosecute our liberation movement to get there. Perhaps I find myself in leadership by default, but trust me, if we're not able to get anyone yet agree to be part of this expedition, I will not mention those names because that is provoking people to come out there and say, no, I'm not part of it, I've not been contacted. We have opened the doors. We have made consultations and we're still consulting. Anyone who accepts to come on board, of course, you hear me mention them right here. So take this from me. But we must begin from somewhere. We must begin with a coalition of the willing because time is not waiting. La République du Cameroun is aware that when their long night of John daggers come, we may go. I will bring that to you, graphic evidence, in my next show on Thursday. And like I said, it's going to be 9 p.m. Amber time. So that you know that we are not the only ones thinking that there is opportunity ahead. They know, and that is why they are doing everything to close this front before they get into that chaos. My people of Amazonia, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Stand firm. Get committed to this liberation movement. If you have not been committed, if you are still contemplating after listening to me several times, then maybe I'll make up my mind. Today is that day to make up your mind. I talked to you about the fundraiser. We are looking at between $13,000 and $15,000. We are still a far cry from that. Someone has opted already to buy one of the devices by himself for $1,400. You can also opt to do so. Because take note, I'm not interested in saying send the cash there. No. If you are able to purchase one, don't hesitate to call me on that number that I provided. Unfortunately, I'm not even able to recall that particular number off the heart, but let me make an effort to look at it again, and I give you here. But I'm also going to pin that number in the first in the first comment on the comment section of this video when I finish the broadcast, so you can have it. And that is WhatsApp only. So you begin by texting me on WhatsApp, and then we can call each other so that I get to know. If you call direct, you're definitely going to get to Google Voice. When I get the message, I will not hesitate to call back or begin by texting me first. So if you're in the United States, that number is 240-883-6443. 240-883-6443. If you're out of the United States of America, begin with +1 240-883-6443. +1 240-883-6443. Don't send any money on that number. Don't. That number is for you to communicate with me. If you want to offer also, like our brother has done, to just pay for the device and deliver it to us. Awesome. My brother, my sister, call me, let's make that arrangement. And I'll present it right here for Ambazonians to see what progress we are making. This is the way that we are going to, follow to liberate our land. That is how we are going to set Ambazonia free, and in record time. I want to thank all of you who found time to be part of this broadcast this evening. I actually had planned to bring a feed about one of our brothers who is somewhere in the United Arab Emirates in some serious difficulties, but because of time constraints, I missed out on that, and I will bring that to our attention on Thursday, during my broadcast on Thursday. Until we meet on Thursday at 9 p.m., it's have a nice time from me, Comrade John Akuro, on the GMA Connections.